Have you not been entertained? 3 of the first 4 games of the Stanley Cup Final require overtime.
WWE couldn't do it. UFC couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Nobody could do it the way the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs, specifically final. This was a roller coaster ride, and I felt like I was on Everest.
And Taylor Swift was in the building. Even she had to enjoy the hockey game. Here are all the pretty pictures as we go from South FLA with the Stanley Cup Final now even at 2 games apiece. And it wasn't just Taylor in the building. There's Travis Kelce in the house as well. Middle of the first period was scoreless, so we didn't get the early goal that we've always gotten. 2-man advantage for Florida. Matthew Tkachuk picks a spot.
Great timing by Matthew Tkachuk, who just waits for the screens to set and picks that short side. Perfect placement there.
Just over 3 minutes left in the first. Another Florida power play. Reinhart on goal. Tkachuk the rebound. And he cashes in again by the side of the net.
Little chip shot there by Tkachuk, up and over Skinner. Dad Keith, Mom Chantel loving it in the stands.
Big Walt enjoying the moment. Under a minute left in the first. Carter Verhaeghe on the forecheck to Anton Lundell. Unbelievable. The Panthers take a 3-0 lead in the final seconds of the period.
Great forecheck leads to that goal by Lundell. Perfectly placed shot, too.
To start the second, Stuart Skinner. It was a question whether he would start. I thought Skinner was excellent in the first period. Still down 3-0. Calvin Pickard is in the game. Lundell a one-on-one. Pickard was brilliant.
Mark that save. That was key because it kept the deficit where it was to 3. Clutch save there by Pickard.
All right, it's a 3-1 hockey game. About 7 minutes to play in the second. And Darnell Nurse from the angle beats Bob.
Darnell Nurse looking like the doctor. And the doctor was in his office. Short side shelf on Sergei Bobrovsky. What a shot by Nurse.
And there is Edmonton life. Under 5 to go. Nurse tries the wraparound. Vasily Podkolzin gets the rebound and scores. How's your secondary scoring, Weekes?
Secondary scoring indeed. And they're loving it back in the Moss pit. Back up in Edmonton.
So it's 3-all. Final minute and a half of the second. Tkachuk the wide open shot. Matthias Ekholm the block.
Watch the way he faces up. That's good defending. Faces up square, and a key block shot there.
Tkachuk nearly had a Stanley Cup Final hat trick. Middle of the third, Oilers power play. Corey Perry trying to stuff it home. Great stop by Sergei Bobrovsky.
Incredible flexibility by Bobrovsky on the doorstep there.
Oilers gonna force the turnover here. Jake Wallman raises the stick, scrapes the roof of the building, and scores the goal. 4-3 Edmonton.
Biggest goal of his career to date. He blocked a lot of shots, and man, oh man, is this goal key. Watch Wallman calling for it. It's one thing to call for it. It's another thing to do something when you get it. Great shot.
Don't count out these cardiac cats. 25 seconds left in regulation. Empty net, extra attacker on. Reinhart, Tkachuk give and go, and it's Reinhart, the hero in regulation.
19.5 seconds remaining, but here's that Florida Panthers forecheck. That's relentless, as Tim Grover says. And in comes Samson Reinhart to force overtime.
And off to overtime we go. Face off in the Panthers zone. Puck gets loose in front. It's chaos. Scramble for it. And somehow Bobrovsky, he winds up way out of his blue paint to make the save.
You young girls and boys that play the position, this is why I say in the playoffs, you got to break dance in the crease and pull some saves out of your elbow. Bobrovsky does it about 4 times here, Leafs. Look at this sequence. Bedlam in the net. Sergei Bobrovsky coming up huge.
Drops the stick, then Sam Bennett rips the shot, and Pickard got a piece, and the crossbar got the rest.
Leafs, now you're back. I thought you still might have been in South Beach from last night, but big save there by Pickard.
Oilers make a push. Draisaitl gets the puck, and somehow it goes in off Mikkola. Amazing. I don't think that pass was intended for Draisaitl either, by the way. But it goes off Mikkola and beats Bobrovsky.
Leon Draisaitl, one hand on the stick, like the great Eric Lindros. You've got to be so strong to finish with one hand. Your top hand on the stick, I might add. And he rescues this one. What a win. Leon Draisaitl again.
Draisaitl has been the hero many times. He sets a postseason record for most overtime goals following a regular season, which he says single-season NHL record for most overtime goals. There's the clutch gene you can't teach. So let's go back a little bit. We've watched a lot of hockey games, buddy.
We have.
And the Edmonton Oilers were as dead as any team has ever been, going off into that dressing room down 3-0 after 20 minutes of play. What happened here?
I got texts from people saying it's the Edmonton Oilers because they thought they were dead, to your point. In the dressing room, those guys must have had every coffee, every espresso, every orange juice that was available, and just said to one another, boys, let's keep it close. Let's believe in ourselves. One shot at a time, one shift at a time. Let's not get overwhelmed. And they came all the way back, Leafs, and scored 3, and then Wallman puts them up here 4. They had a chance to close it out. So you have to give them a ton of credit. This game, they were laid for dead.
Absolutely.
And they got up off the mat.
And then probably not coming back in the series either.
No
if you
chance.
lose that game.
No chance.
That way.
Totally agree.
Let's talk about the goaltending for Edmonton. I thought it was the right call to start Stuart Skinner.
Me too.
I thought he was great in the
too.
first, even though he gave up 3 goals in that first period. And then Calvin Pickard was brilliant the rest of the way.
Let me take you inside what this feels like. And we talked about in the pregame show. For Stu Skinner getting the starting assignment, who came in, as you said prior to the game, with a .955 save percentage in Game 4. Between Games 4 and Game 7, he's had a .941 save percentage. And he was excellent in the first period. His teammates didn't show up. They left him for dead. So for Stu Skinner, you put the pressure on yourself. You want to be there to make the saves. I've also been Pickard, where you get called in relief. And you're just sitting there. You're waiting for your opportunity. Remember, coming into this game, Pickard was 6-0.
6-0 this postseason.
This postseason. Yeah. That was a tough spot to come in. Why? You're cold. You're not in the flow. And you could have fooled me because right from the outset when Pickard came in, he was forced to make big save after big save. And he looked in rhythm. He was on time. Leaves, he was in position. And he couldn't have been any more clutch. He settled the team down. So I know what that's like from both goalies' perspectives. Tough spot on either end. But Pickard came in, and he was absolutely brilliant.
Pickard starts next game, right?
He starts next game.
Put that to rest.
Yes, I believe so.
Calvin, what did it take for you guys to win that game?
I mean, we didn't have our best start, but we like to do things the hard way. So great second and third. Obviously, a crushing goal to give up at the end of regulation, but coming out in overtime, we regrouped, had some good looks, and got a bounce.
So after that first period, you guys are down 3-0, taping inside the locker room. How do you find out you're going in?
We had to clean up some things for sure. Stop taking penalties, and but there's so much belief, especially when we're down in that room. I can't tell you how many times we've came back in games. We play some of our best hockey when we're chasing from behind. But like I said, we like to do things the hard way, and there wasn't much room for error there in the second and third, but we got it done.
So what's your mindset when you go out there for the second? Because you haven't started a game in about a month.
Yeah, I can't worry about anyone else's job. I just got to go out there and keep hitting the ball back. And obviously, you can look at it like it's 3-0. You don't want to give up another one because maybe the game is over. But if you look at it that way, you're obviously just going to be, putting too much pressure on yourself. So just went out there. We played really well in the second period. Obviously, got a couple goals early, and we had them on their heels for a lot of the night.
Describe, this team believes in you so much. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, going in those situations makes me, more comfortable. My teammates have my back, and I have my teammates' back, and just gotta keep going.
Now tied 2-2, going back to Edmonton instead of starving off elimination. How important was this win?
Oh, it was huge. Obviously, giving up that goal at the end, it can be a little tough, obviously, going into the room there, but there's a ton of adversity we face all the time. So this is definitely a good amount of adversity, and we passed the test tonight.
And I know you and Stuart Skinner both talk about the roller coasters of your position. It's so tough, but you guys are so close. How would you describe your relationship?
Yeah, no, it's great. I fell for him today. It was, a bad period by our team. Too many penalties. They played really well too. They're making great plays, earned some goals, and he came to play. He made some big saves early. It was once I got in that there, it was a different team in front of me for sure.
The silence of an arena in the Stanley Cup playoffs during a sudden death goal scored by the road team is deafening. Mm-hmm. It's eerie. The building just goes quiet. We saw it happen at Edmonton too when Marchand scored his goal. What does this say about the Edmonton Oilers?
You remember we had Zach Hyman up here before the game?
Yes.
Who they're sorely missing, by the way.
Right. And
in talking to Zach Hyman, and you interviewed him, you did a great job. He talked about the character. You asked him all about this team in the pregame. And everybody that I've spoken to from Edmonton's group says, we have something special in our room. We have a belief in our group. And as a result of that, you couldn't have gotten a better example of that than coming back on the road, being down 3-0, squandering the 1-goal lead with 19.5 seconds to remain in regulation, and then winning the game in overtime. Incredible.
Edmonton Oilers might not need a jet to fly back home. I mean, they will be in cloud nine. They will be flying high. As for Florida, this would be a tough one to get over. Here's their head coach, Paul Maurice.
I think we focus on sometimes the mistakes that get made by good players at times, and you miss some of the heart and soul and the intensity of it. It's so fast. Every board battle, everything can turn into something. So there's a tension because both teams can score. I mean, from my point of view, there's been phenomenal goaltending in this series. The numbers tell me I'm lying, but the final score says I'm lying. But the goaltending has been incredible because the game can break on slot pass to Sam Bennett, crack a bar. I mean, those are the ones that there's just everything is dangerous all the time. So there's a mental intensity, mental toughness. I think both teams show that the game's not going to be over till it is. You get 3 of 4 games in a final into overtime. You've got 2 really good, evenly matched teams.
Let's stay there with Florida for a second. Is there a concern? They blew a 3-1 lead in the first game of the series, right? Pretty much had that wrapped up. Here they blow a 3-0 lead at home and lose this game 4. Is there cause for concern for the Panthers now?
Concern, no. Missed opportunity, absolutely. But no concern. We were up in Edmonton last year when they blew that game 6. And the Oilers absolutely put the boots to them. And after the game, I saw players from the Panthers coming out. You'd think they would have been dejected. They would have been in the dumps. Hey, Weeksy, what's up? Hey, what's happening? They believed that they were going to come back home on home ice and win Game 7, which they did. So, of course, they're disappointed, but they've got a lot of respect for the Edmonton Oilers. Make no mistake about it. It was a missed opportunity for the Panthers, but you have to tip your hat to the Oilers, who were down and out here in the swamps, in the Everglades, right across the street. And somehow they were able to rescue this game.
So this Stanley Cup final has now been reduced to a best of 3 with the Oilers having home ice. Let's spin forward. Saturday night, hockey night in Canada. What should we expect up in Edmonton, whether it's goaltending or any place else?
Let's start with the goaltending.
Sure.
And I ask you to just get this in quickly. One thing for a lot of you fans that are tuning in, sometimes, and you young athletes, sometimes the game doesn't go your way. And even though Skinner played well, as we pointed out in the first period, he was replaced. You want to know something? He wasn't sulking on the bench. You want to know something else? Post-game, I saw him go up to Pickard, and he was hugging Pickard after the game. That's selfless. That's selfless. That's class. That's team right there.
Along those same lines, teamwork, leadership, we're being told that Corey Perry was the person who spoke to the Oilers team after that first period. The man they call the Worm, he's quite a leader out there, too.
The man I call Corey Perry. And for him, playing in another Stanley Cup final, as he customarily seems to do every year, with that wealth of experience, having won the Cup with Anaheim and played in all these big spots, great stuff.
Feels like this is the first time in the series there's only 1 day between games. There's been a lot of game, 2 days off. Only 1 game for Florida to shake it off and for Edmonton to try and forget what they've done now with a Stanley Cup final, a classic in the making, 3 of the first 4 games requiring overtime, now reduced to a best of 3 with the Oilers once again having home ice. It's been a beauty to watch from high atop. That's the story from Sunrise, Florida. Stanley Cup final on the road.